Hey Lewis, nice job here. Let's see. Whoops. Oh Christ. Yeah, your layer masks are looking good. That's the main thing with this assignment is practicing those layer masks. So usually what I do is I really zoom in. Um, you've got some pretty low pixelated images here, unfortunately. I would really suggest looking, um, looking for some that aren't so pixelated because I mean this is um, at 300, if you ever go to print this, it's going to look pretty pixelated. So be sure to really observe that part of the assignment. And I think, as I mentioned, if you do a Google image search, this is the one I just did for Rachel's, but let's say, like robot. Um, or let's say, well, I'm just going to say robot legs. I know those are like transformers, but so if you search in the images, and you're here, and then you mouse over this, like this one's really high resolution, 2560. Well, not really high, but it's probably a lot more than what you have now. So if you do some Google image searches and just mouse over, that one's way too small, see 512. You're gonna get a better resolution and a better product. And it's also, that one's too small, 300. So again, that it's really important to get the high resolution. That's why last week in the images that everyone posted, I tried to really encourage people on the images what they're gonna look like once they get into a 300 dpi document. So if this was just for the web and it was only going to be this big, it looks fine. But as soon as you start to make it a little bigger, even now it's really pixelating out. You can see what's called, you can see the artifacts, they call them, those little things. So really important to get this resolved, sooner than later. And this one's really pixelated. You can see all the fragments there. The bat looks pretty good. The bat doesn't look too bad. It's still a little blurry when it gets bigger. So that's why it's so important to follow the directions and the client specs. Because if this was a client, I mean, for real, like you would probably either not get paid, or you would, you'd have to spend all this time doing it again, or you would, not have another job with the client. So very, very important to follow those specs. Apart from this technical stuff, your caricature looks great. It's really fun. I think there's a little bit too much emphasis on this head, but I love the legs on it, and I love the bat. So I think it's really working. Another thing you could do, I would separate these legs so you could really make one bigger, and that will really emphasize. So I'm just going to copy this layer. So yeah, you could, let me see here. If you just select it, I mean, it's pretty easy to, I'm just going to select this part of it. I'm on the right layer. Just move it over. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the other part and just delete it. And if you hold the shift key when you're using the arrow keys, it will, it'll move this by 5 pixels instead of 1. So if I'm here, and then I just say delete it, it's gone. I mean, it's still, whoops, you still have it in the back, but on this one. So then what you could do then is then make this bigger. Whoops, I have to control deselect. Then you can make it bigger, and then it'll really look like it's closer. Just the laws of perspective. Whoa, whoops, not that big though. I think I made it way too big. And I'm holding down the shift key while I'm dragging these handles, and that will constrain the proportions. So then, this is really quick and dirty. You definitely would do a better job than this. And then so, if you, let me see, now I have to delete the other one really quick. So you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. I just separated these. It's better to separate them anyway, because then you can move them around more independently. And you know, this could even be bigger, but then again, you know, then you can rotate it. Like, let's say you wanted it to look a certain way, you know, like, I don't know, um, you know, this is just to create, you know, kind of more animation and more movement. Um, so, and again, same with the bat. If you want, if you know, you could also get a bat that's foreshortened. Um, um, this is foreshortened. That, I mean, I don't know if you took drawing class. That just means that this part's bigger because it's closer. There's another one that's a little bit better. This one's a little bit better showing. And again, see how much bigger this is than that? That's pretty much foreshortening. So if you add something like that here, it's going to really come forward and even create more interest. I would define this a little bit more, this piece here. It needs a little bit more clarity. So maybe something to contrast, you know, that's going to be more contrast between this. Okay, so anyway, yeah, overall you know, your layer masks look pretty good. It's just the problem is the image sizes are just way too small. So yeah, and yeah, let me know what questions you have about stuff you want to do more. I can help you. I can either do a little tutorial or I can show you where to find it. You know, there's so much stuff online. It's really easy to find. You know, resources. I mean, another thing too is I would even separate this or find another arm altogether, and then you could really move it around more. And you could you know what I mean? You could really work to move it around to make it more interesting. The head is actually, the head's pretty cool. I'm just playing around here. You could make a little neck on it. You know, you could even, you could rotate it. It already kind of looks like it's looking down, which I really like. Anyway, I'm just playing around, but this is what we're going to do for the rest of the term pretty much is get these all working together really well. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Overall, nice job. Just the images just need to be higher resolution.